Wake up. Stonecrest.
Learn about your city from neighbors who actually live there. Hey neighbors, welcome back to the Stonecrest Podcast, and we are bringing you exactly what you have been asking for. You asked for the opportunity to talk to our runoff candidates for District 5, and we are so grateful and humble to have with us our incumbent Councilwoman Tammy Grimes and our candidate Mrs. Karmesha Washington Smith. Before we get started, I want to have a little bit of housekeeping for you guys, the listeners. Number one, these women have decided to put themselves in front of you and put themselves in a line of scrutiny that many of us, there's 60,000 of us in this entire city, and we know how many candidates we had for this particular election. No one was brave enough, and so please use grace and discernment when you are trying to judge someone who put themselves up in the front. And I want it to always be respectful. So watch yourself in the comments. The next thing that I would like to say is these ladies do have paperwork and they will be taking notes because they will be responding to one another's answers. That is not a sign of unpreparedness. That is a sign of being ready and using the brain that God gave them, the resources available to make sure they're giving you the answers that you need in completeness. So I will also ask you to remain respectful in the comments. The last thing that I would like to say is no, we will not be putting chapter markers on this particular episode so that you can skip and fast forward through, because your listen through rates matter for me. I need those when I go to look for monetization, sponsorship, because none of you guys are donating to keep this show going. We pay for it out of pocket 100%. So those are the things that I have. We are doing a unique conversation style today. It is not exactly a forum. I do have a bowl of questions. We want to say thank you for the 56 questions that were sent in. Now, if you know that your question was disrespectful, if you know that your question was directed at a particular candidate speaking mistruths, that it was absolutely thrown away. But all other questions are in this bowl. We will be pulling randomly. None of the candidates had the opportunity to see these questions ahead of time, which is another reason why they should have notes and items to be prepared, because they are getting them randomly in this moment. They will have 60 seconds to respond. If one candidate goes first, the second candidate they have 90 seconds to respond. If the one candidate goes first, the second candidate has 60 seconds to respond. And if the first candidate to respond so chooses, they have 30 seconds to clear up something that they think may have been an error or a misspeak. So I will ask the question, and I'm going to kind of do a toss up between 1 and 10 to see who will go first. And we will move to get through as many questions as possible. There's no way to get through all 56, but I think that we will have enough content here to support you. And if you wanted to learn more about both of these ladies, they were on the show before. I'm not going to repeat these questions about why you think a person is lacking transparency or why you think a person has a problem with Arabian Mountain. I'm not doing it. We already asked. Watch the other episode. All right. So that's enough from me. Happy to be back on camera, and we're going to get started. So thank you, ladies, for being here. I'm going to go ahead, and I have a number in my head for 1 to 10. It's going to be closest to, but not over. What is that number for you, Ms. Grimes?
Number 10 is a special number for me.
Okay, I like that. And
5.
Well, the number was 7. So closest to but not over. We get to start with Mrs. Washington Smith. Go ahead with your opening statement. Anything that you would like to share with the audience before we start pulling these questions out.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you, first of all, Stonecrest Podcast, for having me. I'm Karmesha Washington Smith, your candidate for Stonecrest City Council District 5. Stonecrest deserves better. And in that better, we deserve better leadership. We deserve leadership that is organized, leadership that is determined to deliver things. In the city of Stonecrest, we have lots of plans. If you know anything about the city, you know we have plans for parks, we have city center plans, we have plans, but we do not have enough execution. And that is what I bring to the table, execution. We cannot continue to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So please, all of you who are watching in District 5, vote, vote, vote. And we have the opportunity to spark some change.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Washington Smith. And now I hand it over to you, Councilwoman Grimes.
Thank you so much. Greetings, Stonecrest, D5. You know exactly who I am. I'm a devoted wife, a loving mother. I'm an excellent educator. Yes, I am. Sensational sister, soror friend, you name it. I am that person. But as it relates to what we're here today to talk about, who am I as it relates to Stonecrest? I am a passionate advocate for constituents in our city. Yes, I've been here for 6 years. Thank you. I appreciate your confidence. And those things that have to come, yeah, we have a lot of plans. But if you know anything about a plan, you got to make it. You got to write the vision and make it plain. And it does not happen overnight. And so the plans that we have for you, they're coming to fruition. Just give me another chance. Give me 4 more years. You'll understand what I mean. The baby's almost here. The baby's almost born. And I tell you, you're going to be so excited about the things that we have planned and the execution that's coming up once we get to that point. We're not going to rush anything because we want you to have the best in the business. You know who to vote for. Tammy Grimes, District 5, City of Stonecrest.
Thank you, ladies, so much for your opening statements. We will now start to ask the questions. So, question number 1. Thank you to everyone who sent in. We had about 22 people send in questions, and we had a total of like 52 because some of you guys didn't listen and said only 2 questions. You put in like 9 and things like that. But nonetheless, thank you all for submitting. First question for you, Councilwoman Grimes. You'll respond first. Do you expect any situation where your proximity to local businesses or properties could create an appearance of conflict of interest?
Absolutely not. I will recuse myself at any time, as I have done in the past. If it's too close to home, I will not be there. I don't want to give anybody anything to talk about. I don't want the look of a lack of transparency to be there. I don't want anybody to think that there is a conflict of interest. I had to recuse myself in the past, and I don't have a problem doing that because that's a level of integrity that I have. I am not going to do anything to cause you to look at me sideways or to have anybody question the integrity in which I operate. So absolutely, I will move to the side quickly.
Thank you so much for your response. All right, Ms. Washington Smith, would you like to respond?
If there is something that seems to be a conflict of interest, then I will recuse myself from it. I believe that being and showing integrity is important. It's a part of me. It's embedded within me. So if the fact is, the facts, not what people just say, but if the fact is there is a conflict, then I will recuse myself. There is no way that I would sit and attempt to make decisions where there could be a possibility of perceived or a understand or a thought that or a perception that I will vote in a certain way just because of something personal. So no, I will recuse myself, and I will make it known why I'm recusing myself.
Thank you so much for your response. Councilwoman Tammy Grimes, was there anything you want to say before we move to the next question?
No, I'm good.
You're good? Okay, awesome. So I'm going to pull the next one. We're going to start with you, Mrs. Washington Smith. I said that I wasn't going to ask any questions around transparency, but this one I did keep in because it was a little bit different than how we responded to it before. So I am going to keep this one in here. So the question, the word transparency has been used a lot in almost every Stonecrest campaign. What does it mean to you? And what plans do you have to increase our government's transparency?
Thank you. Transparency means it's more than just a word to me. And I have stated it along this journey that transparency will bring back that faith that we want the citizens of District 5 and Stonecrest to have in our government. I have written a transparency policy, and in my policy, I have several different sections in the policy that deals with finances, that deals with projects, also the development in our city, quality of life. Those things are very important, and we need to be able to see them from a citizen perspective. So I've also introduced having a portal where we as citizens can go and pull some of this information. When it comes to transparency, we have to have some metrics surrounding those things that I just named. Without metrics, we aren't able to ensure that accountability that we want to see, we're not able to produce and ensure that accountability. So transparency, we have to be able to open the curtains and let the citizens in on what's happening when it comes to our finances, when it comes to our projects, when it comes to where exactly our funds are going, our taxes are going in the city of Stonecrest. And that's something that we aren't able to see right now. And not only is it important for the people in District 5, we, the citizens of District 5, but it's important to all of us in the city of Stonecrest.
Thank you so much. You know what? I'm going to say these ladies have 90 seconds and not nary one of them is using it. They're just getting to it. Okay, efficiency. All right. So you have 60 seconds to respond, Councilwoman Grimes.
Thank you so much. That question, that word, what does it really mean? It is nothing more than being truly in a state of integrity and openness. And I tell you, sitting in the city of Stonecrest in the seat that I sit in on the very end for District 5, there is nothing hidden. There is nothing to hide. Metrics are great. Projects are great. Developments are great. Listen, there are things that we have to abide by. When you talk about being transparent, we offer in the city of Stonecrest our constituents an opportunity, those who are engaged and come to council meetings or listen to council meetings on our Stonecrest City YouTube, an opportunity to either send in public comments. You can be there for public hearings. There's nothing that we're keeping from you. The only thing that might be stopping you might be you. Get in there, ask questions. Call your representative. That's why we are elected, to be able to answer questions. Now, I've not gotten questions from everybody in the city. I can't even say that I've ever had a question from my opponent. But what I'm saying to you is we are available. I am accessible. I am probably one of the most accessible people I'm everywhere. And I don't mind you calling me. I'll tell constituents, I'm up late. Call me up until about midnight. We can still talk. I don't have an issue with that. If it's something you want to know, ask Tammy Grimes. If I don't know, I'm going to find the answer. You already know that. Those of you who've had some dealings with me, you've been intimate, you've come, you've been a part of, you've asked questions. There's that transparency. I wish that I'm going to find a real synonym that we can use for transparency. But right now, the only thing I have is that it is integrity at its best. Ask, and I promise you'll get the answers. Use the pieces that we have in place in the city of Stonecrest.
I spoke too soon, y'all. Right. So you have 30 minutes, Ms. Washington. I want to be with you for a long time. Obviously, you have 30 seconds to respond if you would like.
Okay, so what I heard is everything is great. How do we know everything is great? We have not seen any metrics to show everything is great. We have not had an audit on our financial spending in 3 years since our councilwoman has been in office. So we don't know that everything is great. Just to hear everything is great is not fact. That does not mean that it's great. That's why my transparency policy that I propose and will work with the other city council members to adopt has information in it for us to see those metrics where we are actually doing great and where we need to have improvements.
Girl, skinny your chin. All right, we made it though. So awesome. Thank you so much for that response. And now we will move to our next question because we did answer. You guys got it right. Okay. So now our next one, we're going to start with you, Councilwoman Grimes. What's in here for us to have this time? All right. Do you support Stonecrest establishing its own police department in the future, meaning within the next 1 to 3 years? And what specific steps would you take to move that process forward or determine its feasibility?
Thank you for that question. What I want to be clear on before I give a yes or a no, because it's not really a yes or a no, what it is a process. We've heard from our constituents. We've heard from each other. We all remember we are constituents as well. There is a need to find out just what our constituents want and what they're willing to pay for. Because I want to be very clear, every service equals a tax that's levied. Now, right now, the city of Stonecrest has not, NOT, levied any tax upon its citizens. Because of our intergovernmental agreement that we have with DeKalb County, that's where your taxes, my taxes, our taxes still come from. We've not levied a tax. And the millage rate that we've levied is 1.257, and we give a 1 meal exemption. So sometimes people in the GMA community, they kind of laugh at us. Like, how are you all providing 3 services on such a small millage rate? But what we've done, because that question has come up numerous times about having someone in that position, we're in the process, actively interviewing and looking for someone we would call our police chief, public safety director / liaison. We're actively doing that. So please, Stonecrest, don't think that we're not doing anything about what you're saying. We're in the process, and we're going to do it right, or we're not going to do it at all. And we're doing it right.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Grimes. Mrs. Washington Smith, your turn.
Are you going to give me the question again?
Oh, would you like the question again? It would be my pleasure. All right. Do you support Stonecrest establishing its own police department in the future, meaning the next 1 to 3 years? And what specific steps would you take to move that process forward or determine its feasibility?
So, as it relates to having our own police department, it has been stated by many of our constituents, if we have a police department, that's great. If we don't, that's fine. As long as we have public safety, we feel more safe about being in our city. And when it comes to supporting or not, I support what it is that our citizens would like to have, our citizens would like to see. And when it comes to the taxes, we're paying taxes. We pay higher taxes than we paid when before we were the city of Stonecrest. I don't think the citizens, or I know the citizens aren't against having to possibly spend a little bit more, but it's more important for us to let them know now where the taxes are going. If we understand where funding has been spent, then if you tell us that it's going to take a few more cents or a few more dollars, knowing and understanding is a part of being able to make the appropriate decision on how we move forward.
You must have a timer in there. All right. So you have 30 seconds to respond, Councilwoman Grimes, if you so choose, in regards to the police department and anything that Mrs. Washington just said.
Okay, I was thinking that same thing with the last question, and we didn't get that 30 seconds after because she went first. Okay, all right, so here we go. Here we go. I want to make sure we just stay equitable. Okay, so that response from candidate Washington was good, but please don't forget, it's not going to be just a few cents. When you talk about public safety, that includes our police and our fire, EMS and all of that. That's going to be a big, and I'm not going to say a big burden, but it's not going to be a $2 tax. Let me just be clear about that. So let's continue to have the conversation so that nobody misses a step and that we don't present ourselves as not being transparent, but that we share every dollar, everything that it's going to take, because like you, D5, I want to feel safe as well, or safer, the safest we can be.
Thank you so much. And I do want to address that because you made mention, Councilwoman Grimes. If you took notes, we are going to reserve time at the end for you guys to have closing statements, and you could definitely address anything that we would have missed because there's not a second rebuttal time at that time. All right, so we're in this again, and it is going to be on you, Mrs. Washington Smith. I keep on getting skinny ones, so we're going to grab a fat one this time. So, what is in your professional experience that has prepared you to be the best person to help Stonecrest increase our quality of life?
Well, if you go to my website, www.smithforstonecrestd5.com, you would see an extensive resume on me. What's in my background to get us to where we need to be is program management. I am a person who not only strategizes on plans to make sure we get to where we need to be, but I also ensure that we execute on those plans. I work with a number of people across the board to ensure that they have a clear understanding of what we need to do, and we are on the same page. On the same page as it relates to funding, the budget, the guidelines, the timeline, and what exactly we're executing. So those are some of the things that we need in the city of Stonecrest. We need execution. Again, we have plans, but we need to be able to execute those plans. We need to have an understanding of the plans. And then at this point, we've had plans that have been prepared some time back. We need to go back to you, the citizens in D5 in Stonecrest, and ensure that those are in fact the plans that we need at this point in time. Those are the things that will be beneficial for our quality of life moving forward. So that is what makes me and the skills that I have in my background that allows me to be able to position us in a way to progress in our city.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Washington Smith. And now you have 60 seconds to respond, Councilwoman Grimes.
I hear you, and I feel certain, Ms. Washington, that you do your job well. But there just may be a couple of things that may not be transferable. When you talk about moving a city forward in a young city like Stonecrest, want to be clear about being able to provide things from the front door for constituents. And these are just some of the things that I think will continue to make us a better city. We've done things with our budget that many cities larger than us, even though we're the largest city in DeKalb, but cities that have been in existence for quite some time. Who can say that they've taken their PCI, that paving condition index rating, from 30s to 70 in the short time that we've been around? That's leaving your front door. That matters to you. If you can't leave home and be okay with leaving home to go do the job that you do, that's an issue. Our budget, we have grown our budget. Y'all, we're almost at a $20 million. I mean, come on. Oh, no. Oh, no. 60. You get the gist.
Would you like to respond?
I would. So for a person who has been in every phase of a project and business, it is easily, those skills are so transferable. Anyone knows that if you need something done, the person you hire is a project manager, because they know how to plan it, how to coordinate it, and how to execute it. So again, I have those skills to be able to move us forward from this stagnant place that we are in.
So here we go. This one opened up for me. So I believe it's the question of the hour. As City Council, what is your plan to ensure that future development deals truly benefit Stonecrest residents and not just developers, especially regarding green space, traffic, and community impact?
So when you are involved in the reports and the work to a certain degree of our directors, these are things that are really, really important. I am excited about having an economic development director who has his eyes on what he believes are those things that are very pressing. And we're starting right here, right now in the city with the businesses that we have already. We want to make sure that those businesses want to be here. They understand what the Stonecrest standard is. They understand what development looks like. When we clean up at home, other people who are watching are probably more apt to want to come in. District 5 has the greatest amount of undeveloped land, if you will, in the city. And so people are really, really looking to come to District 5. I want to make sure that what our economic development director is doing is reported. The council gets an opportunity to review and to look, because what we cannot do is do his job. We can't do any director's job. So let's be clear about that. They do their job. They report to the city manager. That comes back to the council. We review, we discuss, and we make decisions. And so long term, we want to continue to do that, but with a heightened sense of it's time to have things come from the ground. I know constituents are ready. I'm ready, and I'm going to keep on that track while we are with this momentum. I believe that businesses will come to Stonecrest based on what is happening now. I know.
So, Mrs. Washington Smith.
So the first thing is collaboration. It's going to take collaboration with the Director of Economic Development, collaboration with you, the citizens of Stonecrest, the citizens of D5. Yes, in District 5, we don't have a lot of commercial spaces in our district. So that means we'll not only have to work with the Economic Development Director, we'll also have to reach across the aisle and work with our other council people in order to, one, make sure that they know what it is that we would like to see from a District 5 perspective, what we would like to see in order to enhance our quality of life. So it is speaking on your behalf, ensuring that there is a clear understanding on what is needed and what is desired from a District 5 standpoint, and working with them to see where that common ground is.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Washington Smith. And now you have an additional 30 seconds, Councilwoman.
Thank you. And so as I was stating about working with the directors, it's going to take all phases of our government to be able to do these things. Economic development at the helm, but can't do nothing without planning and zoning. And if we don't code enforce and do what we need to do to make sure that the businesses who are here now stand by and do the things that are absolutely best for the city, then we might not have people looking at us. We are a great place to do business. Come on and do business here in the city of Stonecrest. That's a long-term goal to get more.
Okay, time. All right. So look, listen. We are on time in here, okay? Whoever says women are late, they are wrong. All right. So here we go. It will be starting with you, Mrs. Washington Smith. This go around. It's in my finger, so it is what it is. How will you gather and verify resident input outside of social media? And what process will you use to ensure that feedback influences your votes?
So what I would do to gather outside of social media is ensure that I have town halls with the citizens of District 5. We have not had a town hall in a while before this election time. So I will make sure that we have town halls. We have events where we don't always have to have formal events. We can have events where we get together, have a good time, and still I'm able to gather information from you. There's technology in place, not only social media. We can have virtual meetings in order to gather information from you and talk to you and see what is impacting your life, how it's impacting your life, and what it is that we need to adjust and do better in order to increase or better your quality of life. Those are some of the ways to gather information. And I will reach out to you, and you will also have my contact information to call me when you need me. Call me, email me, text me, and we will talk with one another. And it will not be based on who you are, but it will be based on whose you are, a citizen of District 5.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Washington Smith. It's 60 seconds for you, Councilwoman.
Okay, I just want to make sure that my opponent understands that Talk with Tammy is a town hall. And yes, we have those every quarter. And yes, we have one coming up again on December 10th. So that's not quite the truth about we've not had one in a while before the election. Those have nothing to do. That's my current seat, my current responsibility. So that happened back in early September, somewhere around September. But at any rate, we've had one long before the election started. What I do want to say, though, I like the idea about gathering information. Being in the presence of community is good. Getting those email addresses and getting the best way to contact a person, just regular old phone numbers. Sometimes just pick up the phone and call. I know I have constituents who do that because I constantly give out 470-456-0066. That's a way you talk to Tammy. In the stores, I have done it in wherever I go. Many times I'll say, hey, we're here. Okay.
Do you want to use your 30 seconds?
Yes, one of the things that I want to make clear that I will ensure that it's not a one-way communication. You don't always have to reach out to me in order for me to find out what's going on with you. I will be reaching out to you, being proactive and ensuring that we're in sync and we know what it is that you need and what concerns you have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we will be starting with you this time, Councilwoman Grimes. Let's see how this happens in here. The couple times I've been getting caught my fingers or opening up, but this time I had to pick. All right. How will you advocate for District 5 during the capital improvement plan process?
So the capital improvement plan is something that's always ongoing. Again, I stated earlier that we have public comments, we have public hearings, we have opportunities for constituents to see agendas, see messages on our website. There's an update that's on our website from the various departments. Harry, our engineer, does a great job of making sure that what we're doing in the city is shared via our website. Just want to make sure that we get everybody in to the website. We've got an app that's really ready to be launched, and it's called Hey Stonecrest. And so when you get that, you'll be able to just, with the click of a button, be able to understand and see those things that are done during any projects that we have. But our capital improvement projects are those things that come right about this time now. When we're doing our budget, we're getting those things in place so that when it's time for next year to come, we'll be able to have those things laid out. You don't have to wait. Watch what we put on the website. Call your representative. Share. Send me an email. Send me a text. If I see you and you have a question, I'll tell you in person. But those are the ways that we can make sure that everything that we do is shared with our community, shared with our constituents. And come to the city. Someone will answer your question. Come to the city. We have people in place. Our city manager is there to answer questions. Please come.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman. Mrs. Smith.
To make sure we're advocating on behalf of the citizens, the citizens of District 5, we have to be in communication with you. There's no way for us to know what decisions to make without being in communication with you and knowing what it is that we need to make decisions on. So that would be, again, town halls, community events, gathering information, making sure that we have a place. When I talk about a transparency portal, that also includes you being able to interact in both ways, you to be able to provide some feedback, as well as being able to see what information you need. So gathering that information, there are so many. We can send out surveys and polls and all those great things. And also for those who are not exactly technologically savvy, there are other things. We can do mailers. We can come to you and have those conversations where you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Would you like to use 30 seconds to respond?
Absolutely. Ms. Smith made a great piece about coming where you are. That is so important because many of our constituents do not have transportation in some of the areas that are in our district. And so being able to go and take do turkey drives right on the spot where you live. That's amazing. That is awesome. And that is one thing that I will applaud my opponent for saying first.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Grimes. Well, you guys are both Mrs. So I'm accurate in what I'm saying. All right. So now we are moving to the next question. We will start now with Mrs. Washington Smith. What do we have going on in here? Whip it out. What are we saying? I don't know why this question made me laugh, because it probably is something that is a personal pet peeve of mine as well. So I'm very happy to hear both of your responses. As a resident of District 5, I want to know your plans to curb the illegal dumping in this district.
Oh my, yes. I was just out yesterday on different streets in our area. My street, South Goddard, there's been some dumping. A neighborhood right around the corner from me, there's been dumping. So one of the things we need better lighting. We need more lighting. We need to ensure that our city we can do what we can do to clean our city, have cleaner areas ourselves. So in addition to that, we don't have signage, no dumping, there's a fine. Those type things are things that we can do to prevent some of the dumping. Let's make some announcements and let people know, if you're caught dumping, then this is what's going to happen to you. Right now, it's horrible in a lot of places, but it's more prevalent in places where there is no street lights or very little lighting, areas that are more remote than others. So we can do more when it comes to the signage, when it comes to making sure that we say that you're going to be in trouble if you do this, because I've been impacted by dumping. If we put measures in place for some of these commercial areas as well, commercial businesses as well, to say that if this is your business and we see whatever your business is dumped all in our neighborhood, then you know what? We may have to look at some records and make sure that you're dumping where you need to be dumping. So we just need to look at some additional measures there.
Thank you. Councilwoman Grimes.
So of all the things that make me want to just really pull my hair, and that is possible, this illegal dumping I have watched. I'm a tag girl. I record tag numbers. And so I have found that this illegal dumping is not just the citizens of DeKalb. Many people come into those areas that could be, I would call a little isolated. I have one street that does have signage. So there is signage around. People are just ignoring the signage. But when we get our code enforcement to be able to carry out these, when they write these citations and they'll be able to carry it out, being able to carry them out in court, that's going to stop. When you hit people in their purse, they'll think about doing things twice. So I think we need to get us a stricter fee piece about citations and the dumping. Yes, I would love to have the lights, but somebody's got to pay for them. So we got to figure out a way to have the lighting, and it has to be attached to somebody's property in order for the lights to be there to do that. I've already inquired about that. Yes, litter is horrible in some areas, but that is remote areas.
Thank you. Do you want to respond?
Yes. In addition to code enforcement, if we had more police presence in our city, that would be another deterrent when it comes to the illegal dumping as well.
Thank you. She only used 10 of her seconds, so I kind of want to just say that pick up behind yourself too. Like be neighbors. I have someone who lives in my subdivision and he picks up trash up and down Rockbridge Road. Not saying that we have to all be trash collectors, but like, let's love our city too. It's not just code enforcement's responsibility. A sign shouldn't make you want to do the right thing. Just pick up behind yourself. Okay, I'm going to get to the next question. Thank you for letting me have your 20 seconds. I'm not running for anything. It's just on my heart. Can we be right? Okay. Shake it off. What do we got here? So, another hot topic, super hot topic. And we are starting with Councilwoman Grimes. What are your plans to ensure that there are larger buffer zoning policies that are in place for residential and versus industrial areas?
Now, if you know anything about the city from the beginning, we had a little snafu that had nothing to do with a decision that was made by council. Let's be clear. We have to make sure that our planning and zoning is so tight that we won't trip up and have this happen again. Anytime developers come, buffers, that's a big conversation. If they're anywhere near a residential place that may be close to an industrial, we try our best, our level best, not to make that be something that we have to even talk about. No one wants to live next to an industrial compound or an industrial business. That's why it is so important that when we do our modifications in our code, our ordinances, that we keep our industrial M1, M2 away from our R100, R85, our residences. We have to make sure that that is done. And we have a great community development director who makes sure that our planning and our zoning is on it. We will never, ever, ever want to be back in the state that we were in when the city was first set up. So we have to do a great job of making sure that we look at those applications and look at those site plans to make sure that the developer understands that things have to be done right in order to be completed. And planning and zoning, they have a great handle on that.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman. So, Mrs. Washington, your turn.
Yes, it's very important that we have buffers in place when there is a business near homes. At this point, we have I think, $35 million lawsuit hanging over our heads because the proper governance did not happen, and the homes near a business, those people, they are impacted by what's going on there. We have to ensure that the citizens are, again, you are involved. You are in the conversations. You know what is going on. You know how it's going to impact you. A lot of times decisions are made based on one scope of knowledge and not all scopes of knowledge. We have to ensure that the people who are most impacted are in the conversations. For instance, I had a conversation with some people from a retirement home, and they want us to make sure that they're included.
Don't forget our seniors. Would you like your 30 seconds, Councilwoman Grimes?
Yes, I'm not sure how some of this information about what is currently in litigation has come out, because I've seen this $35 million hanging over our head. If you're not in executive session, you don't know what is happening. So I'm gonna stick a pin in that and ask that not be repeated, because that might not be the truth. But that buffer piece is really important. No one deserves to be bothered. No one deserves to be affected by a business due to poor planning. The city of Stonecrest, we're not doing that anymore. And again, keep in mind, that happened at the very beginning of our setup, and that was not the council.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman. So we are really close to time, and I have to give you guys time for the closing session. So I do want to stick a pin, because it's my platform, I'm going to do it. But because that question is something else that's really hot topic right now, and that is the data centers. I would like to give you guys both 30 seconds to kind of address the concern with constituents of Stonecrest and the data centers and how close it would be in proximity to our homes. I think that is a fair question to insert that is kind of buried in there, but I don't want to give that to chance since we're already talking about that. So I'll start with you, Councilwoman, on data centers and what we are going to do as a city to protect our current residents against potential pollution or infractions in that way.
Can I just have it for the last question?
This is an insertion, but you don't have to go first. Okay. I'll go over here.
No, it's a question. question. I just want to make sure that we're
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
things
So
the
this
right
is
way.
this is not an actual question from the bowl. It's me taking a liberty based off of the last question with the buffer to address the data center.
All right. So as it relates to the data centers, I know that we've had some conversations in the community, especially our CEO. She's had a couple of meetings with people who are very familiar with the data centers. And there's even a moratorium, small moratorium. I think there was a 60, 90-day thing that's coming up in December for them. And that doesn't affect any of the other municipalities from having conversations, which we will do. We've had some spotty conversations, just a couple of council members talking to each other, but we have not had a full-fledged conversation with our community yet because we want to hear what comes from these other data center conversations. We got folks in Ellenwood sending us information, so we're getting some things, but when we do it, remember I said, we're going to do it right. That's not to say yes or no. That's to say, constituents, D5, Stonecrest, we will not come to you until we are ready to have that conversation and have some information that we can share with you that is not just hearsay, but what we know to be factual.
Thank you, and thank y'all for letting me be wrong. All right, so
So as it relates to data centers, I have had experience working in data centers. I've had experience working with people who work in data centers, and there is no place in our city for data centers. There is some technology in place that has made some of the negative impacts from data centers a little bit better, but Stonecrest is beautiful. We can have so many other things. We are not the place to have data centers, and I'll leave it there.
thank you so much, Mrs. Washington. So again, I had to put it out there because if y'all came at me about you didn't ask anything about data centers, would have been mad. So I saved myself something, and I hope I didn't lose any rapport with these ladies trying to help you out. All right. So we have time for one more question, and then we have to do our closing statements because of time. And it's coming over here to you, Mrs. Washington Smith. What areas of the city budget need immediate adjustment, and what changes would you recommend?
I can't tell you. You know why? Because I don't know what we have spent over the past few years in order to determine where we have overspent, where we have underspent, where we have a gap in our spending, where we can make adjustments. Those are things, when we talk about having the audits done, those are things that impact our budget and how we determine where the spending needs to happen. We have to ensure that we have an understanding of where things are in order to determine where we need to go.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Washington Smith. And now we give you your 60 seconds, Councilwoman Grimes.
We're in the midst of finalizing our 2026 budget. It has been out there for everybody to see. Come to the meetings, ask questions, send in comments, send in questions. And right now, what I've been proposing, I'm pretty good with the budget right now. Of course, I really would love to have some land purchased in D5 for Everett Park, but that's not anything that I have not said publicly before. And I would love to have 2 code enforcement officers in every district because I think with the dumping issue that we have, that is necessary. So for me, those would be the only 2 things right now. Everything else, from what I have reviewed, I am fine with. But what I do want to say is there are reports that are given. They may not be audits, but there are reports that are given every month. And so if you've been involved and you've been looking, you can find what has been spent and you can tell what it has been spent on. There are line items there. And if you don't find what you're looking for, we have the people in our, oh my God.
Mrs. Smith.
Yes. I do want to highlight one of the areas where I do know that the citizens in D5 feel like there needs to be adjustments is in the area of parks. I have gone to a park where the citizens of D5 utilize the park and they don't have working bathrooms, they don't have a working concession stand, and their field desperately needs to be resurfaced. And the citizens in D5 are saying, what's happening with our parks? We need a dog park as well. So parks is one area.
Thank you so much. Did I do my, that was the 30 seconds. Yeah, it was. I was like, oh, that was fast. Okay, I'm there. Sorry, guys. You know, we made it through the end. And there was like at least 3 more questions in there I really wanted to have asked, but we don't have time. And I took my liberty with the data center thing. But I want to take, that was good. But I have another liberty I really want to take, but I know I don't have time, but we're going to go on. We're going to move forward. I'm going to have to just ask them offline since I got them. Right. So we want to give these ladies an opportunity to give you guys closing statements and to be able to address anything that they did not have a chance to address their opponent on here, because of the idea of it being fair or unfair. I'm going to do the number again. And this time I'm going to ask my dear husband, Gaza, to write a number down on a piece of paper right now. And we're going to do from closest number to Gaza's without going over of who will give their closing statement first and second. So Gaza, if you could text, because I want to have a time mark, text me that number actually. And then that way it'll be time marked so no one says I'm cheating. Because y'all love to be keyboard warriors in that Facebook group. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. All right. So Mrs. Smith, your number. 2. And Mrs. Grimes. Guys, I put 3. So you will go first.
Well, thank you to the citizens of Stonecrest D5. I am here because we need change in Stonecrest. We need someone who is an executor that can get things done. We cannot continue to do the same thing over and over, expecting different results. We have given our current councilwoman 6 years. Why should we give her 4 more years? What initiatives has she led when it comes to the city of Stonecrest, moving forward in a progressive directions? We still don't have a police department. We have audits that have not been completed where we're leaving money on the table because those audits have not been completed. We are not able to get certain grants because we are out of compliance. Those things, we have to hold people accountable. You wonder why in certain areas they get things done. It's because in those certain areas, they hold their city officials accountable to doing what it is they say that they're doing. I have the ability to get us to where we need to be. I will put you first, but it's not just me. It is a we thing. It's going to take all of us working together to move us in a positive direction. Stonecrest deserves better. We deserve better leadership, better schools, better roads, better grocery stores, better options, things that will enhance our quality of life. And in order for us to get better, you cannot progress without change. Change is going to get us into where we need to be. Thank you so much. This is Karmesha Washington Smith, and I need your vote for City Council District 5. We are the only seat that can spark change for the next few years, for the next 2 years at least. So let's get in there. Let's vote for change for the better.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Washington Smith. And the floor is yours, Councilwoman Grimes.
And I thank you for that. D5, we've been together for some time. You know, we got a rocky start at the beginning. Remember, my first meeting was in the pandemic, but we pushed through. And then we had a pandemic internally, and we made changes, charter changes, to have the form of government that we have today to ensure that that will never happen again, not on my watch. So what I want you to understand that if you believe in integrity and intentionality, please understand it's me. I will never, ever, ever mislead you or misguide you or even have something that wasn't quite stated truthfully today about integrity, because there's some things that constituents have reported about. I won't even say that. I won't say that. If truth and trust matter to you, vote Tammy Grimes. If authenticity and advocacy mean anything to you, vote Tammy Grimes. If integrity and intentionality mean anything to you, vote Tammy Grimes. You know what I've done. You know the challenges that we've had. So yes, you can have a certain level of skills and certain skill sets, but you may not be able to do what you think you can do, because a lot of those things that have been talked about are the responsibilities and the roles of directors who have responsibility to the city manager, who has responsibility to the council. Now, as it relates to parks, we're working on parks, and there have been great improvements in our parks. Don't believe that. There are bathrooms now over at 2 of the parks that are our main parks that have been going on for months, and they are coming to completion. That is Southeast Athletic Complex and Salem Park. And Farrington, you're next. So we know that changes are taking place in our parks, especially with our bathrooms. We've added so many more reports. That financial report that you want, please ask for it. We're getting our audits done. Yes, we had some issues. So what did we do? We used our home rule, and we made a petition to our delegation. And by that, we have now made an amendment to our charter. So don't say we're not doing anything, because we're doing all the things that we can do. We've made an amendment to our charter to make sure that we can have an auditor be not only an official member of the staff of Stonecrest, but we are able now to utilize our contractors and consultants who would like to take on that, so that we can get all of the grants that come with having your audits in place. And so we're working feverishly, and those things will get done soon. We're almost finished with 22, 23, getting ready to work on 24.
Thank you. Ladies, I want to talk all day. Oh, look, I've been trying to, do you guys know how hard it is to be like all super in the conversation, like, and then trying to watch this time? It hasn't. Next time I'm going to have a time person over there. It's going to be much better. Yeah, I'm a timekeeper like we do it in the normal form. So I was like, I can do it all. But nonetheless, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you guys for taking the time to come. I know that there's more questions that are out there, but nonetheless, I do believe that both of these candidates address many of the questions that you guys consistently ask over and over in their individual interviews when they came before. I don't believe any of their positions have changed since they interviewed with us previously. The positions are the same. So you can go and ask every single topic, from transparency to the rumor mill is where we close them with everybody. You can go and listen to their previous episodes. And then I also want to give you guys an abundance of respect for how professionally you guys have treated each other here on this platform and in this room. It means so much to me that there was no personal attacks. These ladies came in here with grace and hugs and love, and that is what God called us to be. We all have sinned and fallen short, so please watch yourself in those comments. And thank you for watching the Stonecrest Podcast. Vote on December 2nd, and we can't wait to see what change is going to come and what is going to happen, because no matter who is in that seat, every day is a new day. Every day is an opportunity for a new decision. So blessings to you all.
Thank you to listening to the Stonecrest Podcast election series for the City Council candidates. Remember to tell your neighbors, share this podcast with everyone you know, and listen to every single episode so that you can vote in the know.
The Stonecrest Podcast.
Spreading awareness within our community.